breeze blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page life is about to begin. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just look on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. There'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, here in Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
Cue the cam. Good morning. Monday Morning Blues. Good song for the Monday morning. We have a hurricane right now, so we definitely don't want no party songs, that's for sure. We got a lot of folks dealing with Hurricane Fiona, or Fiona, I can't figure it out. Fiona. You say Fiona, you say tomato, I say tomato. So what's up, everybody? Good morning. What dog first? They both jumped up on my lap today, so we're going to start out with you, Louie. Let's try not to repeat what happened Friday when I yanked his thingy. So we got BOGO Dog Day today. You first, okay, buddy? And then we got your little brother. All right, so good morning, everybody. This is Mike here, Mike's Weather Page. We talk about the weather, tropics. Thanks for joining us here. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right now. And obviously, we got right above our heads up here, Louie, look. That's Hurricane Fiona. And made a little wiggle overnight into the Dominican Republic. Remember, that cone is anywhere that the eye could go. So it technically stayed in that cone. That's why the cone is so important. It's not just the center black line, it's that cone. And we had a little wiggle wobble. So hurricane warnings are still ongoing right now. Yeah, it's a mess. 30 inches of rain still coming up. So we're going to talk, DR, yeah, they were empty cups. Cutting them was the fun part with an X-Acto knife. So we got a lot to talk about. We have, I'm going to show, what's going on with Fiona. I was covering it all weekend, obviously, and it's still going on. We got hurricane warnings now for the Turks and Caicos. We talk about them a lot. I was there on our MWP cruise. So that means a lot to us here at Mike's Weather Page. A lot of us were there visiting just a few months ago. And then we have a lot of people watching in Bermuda. This thing's going to be very, 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 very close to Bermuda. And then we got a little tropical something maybe to talk about next week. I had to go and mess things up. I mentioned the word camping, and I typed quiet with a Q. And I didn't really want to post it yesterday. The way I work is my own little style. But over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I noticed a little trend developing here in one of our waves. And I woke up this morning hoping it wasn't continuing because I selfishly want to go to Talladega next week. So we'll get into that too. And I don't have any updates on any other parts of the world. I apologize. I know Alaska had a really big storm, but man, I can only focus on a little bit and kind of what I do. So we have a lot of people watching down in Puerto Rico, and so apologize if you were coming to the page for Alaska info. Kind of more of an East Coast Atlantic kind of guy, right, Hunter? Well, I hope you had a great weekend. The rains have finally stopped here in Florida for a little bit, and yeah, we had a good day of football. The Rays looked good. The Bucks won. Hope everybody got to visit their ABC Fine Wine and Spirits here in our great little state of FLA. ABC, FLA, ABC, FLA. Like that. And it's the start of a new week here. So let's put on the radar real quick while we still say hello to some folks. This is current radar. So we do have a National Weather Service office down in Puerto Rico, so we were able to get some really good radar. And you've heard me mention the term rain train a lot. And that's what's going on currently this morning. This is live. What are you making so much noise for? All right, we're going to put you down, Hunter. This is a little Hunter, by the way. It was a BOGO dough. Makes so much noise. This is current radar, and man, this is not good. We got the tail of tropical systems can sometimes. Remember, Irma was way up like in North Florida, Georgia, and it was still bringing in the tail through the Florida Peninsula. So still heavy rain ongoing in Puerto Rico. Not a good thing for them. Current power outages. Remember Furman here, Furman Power Equipment. They have their own power outage map now that we link on the top of our site. And you can click and see your areas. But look at Puerto Rico. 100, or not even 100, 1,400,000. We got a little bit of power back. About 100,000, 150,000 back on power. Yesterday, the complete power grid was shut down. 100% of Puerto Rico was out of power yesterday. Just this morning, we're starting to get some power back. But still, 1.4 million without power. Or what? 1.3 without power. There's 1.4 on the island. So yesterday there was 1.4 million without power. Today there's 1.3 million without power. So they got power on for 100,000, but pretty much the whole island here is completely out of power. Let's hope you all have some Furman generators. And hope they get that power back on quick. Some of the graphics I posted earlier today on all my feeds. This was posted this morning by the National Weather Service. These were radar up till about 2 hours ago. Anything in the dark purple is 20 to 25 inches have already fallen. So anything in the purple area, 16 to 18 inches. The least amount of rain that fell was about 4 inches. So everybody on the island got 4 to 5 to 6 minimum. Virgin Islands got some. They got 8 to 10 here down here. So yeah, they got a lot of rain too. Definitely was focused on Puerto Rico though, as this, our storm kind of came up at an angle and brought in a lot of rain, and it's still ongoing. So we'll have to see what happens there. Some other stuff I posted. This is a great imagery here on Zoom Earth. I love Zoom Earth, and this is a great map. I have it linked on the page. This just shows you where it's going to be tomorrow. This is 2 a.m. tonight, 105 mile an hour. There's Turks and Caicos. So, any more wiggles, we're gonna have to worry about a direct hit to the Turks and Caicos. Did a weird little shift last night. The upper level winds are extremely confident that this thing is going to get pulled to the north soon. So this is not an indicator that this is coming to the continental United States or any farther into the Bahamas. I get that. I see a lot of hype about that. I've seen more hype this year than ever with people with conspiracy theories on trying to convince everybody that this thing is coming to the east coast of Florida or east coast United States. But it's not. You gotta believe the models. When there's this many models, the models, spaghettimodels.com, spaghetti models. These are your fresh 12Zs. They just came out on Tropical Tidbits. High confidence. Anytime that I've ever talked about scenarios is when we have had low confidence. The steering upper level winds pattern. There's a huge high pressure system over the United States. There's a front coming down this week, and it is going to absolutely pick our system up and put it towards Bermuda Thursday night to Friday morning. So Thursday night, Bermuda is going to be getting a little edgy as our storm approaches. I did post this a little bit ago too. Put this model map together. Let me pull this one up. This is a blend of all your models for Bermuda. And so far, majority of them are to the east, which is the worst side. The Icon passes just to the east, the GFS just to the east, and the Euro just to the east. And the official NHC track is just to the east. Friday, 2 a.m., 125 miles an hour just east of Bermuda, but close enough that you can still have 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Even a track without a direct landfall, Bermuda's going to be looking at some pretty serious winds. So they're definitely batting down the hatches there. They got a lot of boats, cruises, flights, all this stuff is going to get impacted. So definitely plan ahead if you're, there or going there. We'll see. So that's that. So let's go back to Puerto Rico real quick. I don't know what good graphic we can look at right now. I guess we'll just put it right here for now. So, prime example. I've shared a graphic with everybody a ton of times called "It's Only a Category 1." Okay, so many people, and I read the comments. Listen, I don't care. When I troll people and say, "Oh, hype," I don't care. I mean, everybody's right to say I'm hyping. I don't really care, but I do get a little annoyed when people say it's only a Category 1. Why are you talking about it? It's only it's tiny. Well, because Category 1 systems. I mean, who could forget storms like Sandy and, Florence when it finally made landfall? I mean, flooding is the problem. Slow-moving systems are a problem. Wind speed. I mean, Charlie was a bad storm for Florida, yeah, but it was moving so fast it didn't have time for a lot of storm surge or widespread damages that we sometimes see with a wider, slower-moving system. So, wind speed isn't everything, and we're seeing that with this Category 1 storm bringing in just unbelievable amount of tropical moisture. Now, we talked about this. I'm not going to get into all that. If you follow our page, we were all over this. Once this system crossed the Lesser Antilles, it got into that rich ocean heat content fuel. You could see the vorticity started stacking a little better. Everything was lining up for this thing, and the pressures have dropped. Once you get pressure drops, it's stacking, it's organizing. And winds usually take a little bit longer to catch up to a pressure drop. But I don't know if I shared this one or not, but this was what happened last night. So our hurricane hunters, these are some awesome tracks here. I obviously link Tropical Tidbits for a lot of stuff. He does great. But, our track was expected to just kind of continue on, but it did a little wiggle last night, and it ended up over the Dominican Republic. I don't think at one point they really thought they were going to take a direct hit. A lot of modeling had this thing going through the passage here. So it wiggled, was a landfall late last night, early morning, 90-mile-an-hour hurricane landfall. So the folks at Dominican Republic are a little surprised this morning. They, in lockdown, I heard there's, obviously flights and stuff. So there's a lot of people kind of stranded down there because our storm took a little turn. But remember, it was still in that cone. The cone is where the eye wall can go, not where the effects are. So. But as we go back, the current Tropical Tidbits site now, you can see that they don't fly over land. This is always tricky. You can see the flight path. They have to wait for the system to actually get back over water before they fly through the eye. So they stay over, it's interesting to watch the hurricane hunters. They stay over water. They don't go over land. So when you wonder what the heck's going on here, they're patiently waiting for our system to plop on over to the other side. And we'll get some accurate pressure drops and readings. It's just a little bit over land right now to get any true readings. So let me say hey to a few folks. I don't mean to steer away so much, but hey, Isaac Taylor, good morning. Catastrophic, yes. Robin with a thumbs up. James Ford, what's up? Shelly, Miss Shelly Ross, good morning. Hey everybody, by the way, Brian's talking about my skeleton. I found one in Holiday. Trent Hogg, what's up? So I got my skeleton, and that box is huge. You can't go buy a 12-foot skeleton if you just have a car. I had to even take my cover off the truck and drive in the rain because the box was like 4x3. It's huge. But I found a skeleton, man. Must have had 100 people reach out about skeletons. Now I know why they don't ship the damn thing. It probably costs more than the skeleton. But I got my skeleton. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate that, buddy. Morning all. Michael Cheney. What's up, Darren? What's up, Michelle? What's up, Carla? Appreciate the follow. Good morning, Karen. Virgin Islands. You get it? How was your experience with Fiona down there in the islands, Karen? I know you're down that way. Hopefully not as bad as Puerto Rico's dealing with. They're kind of definitely getting a little more than many expected. That's for sure. Original NHC track came out at 45 mile an hour, you know. Good morning, Joe from Homestead. Good morning, Bill. What's up? Good morning, Harold. How's it going out west, man? Swells should start entering soon. We can go over that. Morning, Robin Peters. Appreciate all the hellos. Got a lot of new followers this week. Really appreciate it. Silkia says her family in Puerto Rico says Hurricane Fiona is worse than Maria. Well, it could be because of that flooding. You know, it's not always about the wind. Paulo from Puerto Rico. We have a lot of folks in Puerto Rico chiming in. Braxton, how's it going, buddy? Yeah. Don't forget me. Morning, Reggie King. Good morning. All right, good morning, Ruskin. I love Ruskin. Ruskin is like true Florida man. Parish. All right, James. Good morning. All right. Whew, coffee tastes good. So we're dealing with Fiona. The rain bands are continuing on. Dominican Republic's dealing with winds. You know, we had 100 mile an hour wind gusts reported in parts of Puerto Rico. I'm trying to think of any good tools. Let's look at wind alert. Let's see if they got any sensors working down there on the islands anywhere. Kind of sometimes you can get an idea where the center's at. Some of them are offline. This is a good one though. Let's see, it's been off and on too. So it's hard to tell. A lot of these might have lost power. Get a good sense of where the storm's at. You kind of get a good sense here on the Windy app. We could do that. This is a good spot. Looks like it's fixing to come off the coast here. This is a great, that's what I was thinking. Like, what were we going to look at? I had to think. I think it's hard to do sometimes. All right, here's the lower level winds. This is pretty cool. It's not, I don't know the timestamp is completely accurate, but kind of get an idea where the eye is currently. And again, the track is very solid. This thing is going north, west. No continental U.S. impacts, other than surf. So yeah, there's that. Let's look at the Turks and Caicos. Let's get an idea what they could be dealing with winds. Like I said, we were there on our MWP cruise here just back in March, man. We were hanging with the donkeys. The island is full of them. Wild donkey. It's so cool. It was neat little experience. All right, so here's what we could expect for winds. All right, so we're going to go forward. We're going to look at a Euro and GFS. So there's our storm just sliding on the latest Euro, just sliding east of the Turks and Caicos. So hopefully they avoid the big winds. The big winds are obviously around the center to the east. These are about 50, 60, 70. So you can still get some pretty big gusts tonight. This is overnight and tomorrow morning tonight. So, you know, at least the eye is passing just to the east. The GFS, about the same. Track's pretty close. So hopefully y'all down there don't get the brunt of it. It's going to be moving out of here fast today. Now, it's really going to start trucking north here in a little bit. Then we're going to look at Bermuda here. Bermuda's got a lot of people watching that follow our page. And as I showed earlier, you know, man, it's going to be close. This is Friday at 2 a.m. And this is exactly where the NHC is putting their spot to, about 2 a.m. on Friday. According to the GFS here, man, we could have 100-plus mile-an-hour wind gusts. Now, this is going to be a major hurricane, 125-mile-an-hour hurricane just off the coast of Bermuda Thursday night, Friday morning. The winds usually expand out on the open Atlantic. So that's what you got to worry about. Even if you don't take a direct impact, you're on the worst side of a storm, counterclockwise flow here. It'd be better if the storm was on your east side, but it's not. So you're going to get some big winds Thursday night, man. And so if you got any boats and marinas, and you better start thinking about that now, because that's going to be a rough Thursday night, Friday morning. The Euro's a tick slower, passing just off just a little bit farther to the east, meaning a little less winds. Still Friday early morning. Icon. Ugh. That's Friday, 7 a.m. Here's 1 a.m. So it's, again, Thursday night, Friday. It's going to be a stressful couple days for our folks in Bermuda. We have a lot of fans in Bermuda. Mike, why are you talking about Bermuda? Because they have 63,000 people that live there, I believe. That's what the latest I looked. And we have a lot of MWPs there. We have a lot of Brew Crew members there that support our page. They buy my beer. So I'm going to talk about Bermuda. Here's the beer. Katie Gregory, yes. Good morning. Jacqueline Rose. Power grid is down. Yeah, I just showed it. So we have 1.4 million people in Puerto Rico, and 1.3 million are without power right now. Jeffrey Taylor, thank you very much, Jeffrey. Appreciate that. What about the Outer Banks, Mike? Well, you're gonna get a lot of waves. But listen, man, the number one. I was talking to my buddy Dennis Phillips this morning too, by the way, on the messenger. Oh, he loves it. I love it. But I've never seen more false information with this storm for people living in, Florida and East Coast of the United States that have been stressful thinking this was still coming. It's not coming. It's not coming. The showed us a bazillion times. The cold front is coming down, and it's going to turn our system out to sea. Huge high pressure over Florida now. This is sliding. This all gets pushed this way with an approaching front, and it just opens up the door for this thing to find a weakness. And let me get right into tropical tidbits, show you real quick, and then we're going to, I guess we can jump right into my fault for mentioning camping. I'll take the blame. But here's what we got with the steering patterns, and then I'm going to drink some more coffee and say some more hellos. This is exactly what we were showing last week. If this thing stayed weak, it was going to miss this high pressure and potentially keep on going this direction. It didn't, obviously. Our system, this is Tropical Tidbits, by the way, tropicaltidbits.com. Our system found this weakness in their gap here, and it's basically going to go right between these two weaknesses, as they do. Frontal line's coming down this weekend, coming up, and it's going to push our system off into Never Never Land. And now there's a couple of them showing a little wiggle back up north, but the latest spaghetti, at least on that, showing, I guess there's a chance it could go up to Newfoundland. So yeah, I mentioned that a bunch. I even tagged them in a hashtag. Hey, by the way, today is 9/19 on 9/19. Didn't we say a couple years ago we were going to make this like the official holiday of Mike's Flare page, 9/19? Hope you guys subscribe me over on YouTube, by the way. I've been doing those little quickies and getting a lot of great response. I'm going to do one here maybe after this one. What's up there, Mr. Telford Holmes? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Jason Cloud. Yeah, we're going to talk about what's coming up. What's up, Jim Parker? Love to see the locals. Love to see the new people. Renee, good to see you. Flying the flags. So at least the good news of Puerto Rico is the winds are gone. You just got some squally lines coming up. These rains are going to slowly start tapering off today as our system pulls up. So remember, our system's going to be moving that way. So these lines of rains are going to be following along. So some of these rains are going to impact probably places that had the lowest rain totals showing so far. this rain training is going to continue. And I don't know if you've seen some of those videos of those bridges that were ripped apart. They were, the sound was like cringing. Metal bridges that were just like swept away in the floodwaters. So, and I had a friend, Gio, family from Puerto Rico, and he sent me some pictures yesterday. Just devastating. Because you got to remember, there's no internet down there, so nobody's really getting any really good reports of how bad it really is right now until we really get some internet. All right. All right, so Bermuda, we're watching close. I did this little graphic earlier today. Let me put it to you live, and then we'll go right into what's coming, possibly next week. I'm so torn. My yearly trip to Dega. What the heck, man? Something might be coming. All right, so let's put on all the ensembles. Let's just hit every dang spaghetti model I can find. And this is for the center of our storm. And we're going to zoom right into Bermuda, and look, here we go. If you want spaghetti, there's spaghetti. So high confidence this thing's going to pass off to your west. I screw up west and east more than anybody on the planet. Hey, squirrel from the UK. Whackjaw. Oh, I can't say that. Whackjaw 45. I try to read both. It's just tough. We're going to talk about the 06 GFS Ethan. Yes, we are. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. Starlink. Oh, yeah. I should have Starlink for Talladega. But Stephanie Stokes, what's going on, man? I hope we don't have anything coming for us. Dominican Republic, Omar, yeah, well, they're under hurricane warning right now. I did read that a lot of the countries on lockdown right now because of safety. So there are a lot of folks are just kind of put in place, I heard, because of the unknowns with this little bit of shift. They had a direct hit last night, a 90-mile-an-hour landfall officially, and they're still under hurricane warning right now. So they're still getting some big winds. It's fixing to exit the country any minute. 5 o'clock somewhere. No, Sean. Too early. All right. So last comment on Bermuda. We're gonna, I'll be honing in on this, but man, it's highly likelihood this thing is going to be getting very close to you guys in just a couple days. So we're going to keep a look out for that. I wonder if we can see here. We had a map. Don't think I used it this year yet. And that is little Hunter, by the way. He is snoring a lot. We can look at the waves. This is one of them I wanted to look at. This is what maximum waves through Friday, at least. So the big waves aren't going to be here yet. These are waves through Thursday night, actually. Thursday night this week. So, we're going to start to see 10, 12-foot waves, even reaching Florida. Let me find another one for you. A little better. This one's more... God, I hate it when I click out of there. Did it come back? Yes. Let me see if I can get a little better wave map here. More timing of the waves. Here we go. All right. So here's our wave maps. Everybody's asking. All right. So here we go. Boom, right there. Let's just stop right there. This is Thursday morning. Okay, so we're going to start to see the waves late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, reaching Florida and the East Coast. And the big stuff reaches the East Coast Outer Banks Thursday. Big stuff. I mean, we're talking 12, 14, 16 footers. And our map stops out at 90 hours. But yeah, look. Big waves Thursday, Carolinas. The other thing I wanted to show with this one is going to be the wind swath. And it doesn't really show you. I'll have to find it. There's a good wind map. God, I can't remember where it was at. It's a little too far out to see maximum winds that you might get yet. So I'll have to look for that. That's for Bermuda. All right, so let's talk about what's coming. Oh, cool, man, Melinda. Well, I'm glad you got out. We were glad that you were watching. Glad you got out. Chris, yeah, the Rays won again. Woohoo! What's up, Dale? What's up, Eric? What's up, Jason Sutton? 1.3 million people out of power in Puerto Rico, Jason. I hope they went and got some Furman generators before. We warned them. Oh, man, that's a lot of folks. All right, so let's talk about the latest chances of what's going on in the world of weather. So, officially, this is it. Right here, we've had this silly little Invest 97. I don't even talk about it. I don't even know if that's Invest 97 or not. Yeah, I think that's Invest 97. Well, that's it. That's all we got. That wave that came off of Africa, guess what? Remember I say, right when you just take your eyes... The same thing with Fiona. Listen. Folks in our brew crew know that I said Fiona was going to be sneaky because everybody forgot about it. It ran into all that dry air and all of a sudden it came back. Well, guess what? That wave off Africa we were talking about last week is here now. And guess what? The models are starting to pick up on it. And I don't know why drawing that arrow made so many people mad this morning. I want to ask you something. God, I don't mean to. Ugh, I hate harping over things. But how? Explain to me. Somebody please. Oh, did you see pictures of Sarah's hair? It was hair day today. So I want to ask you. How in the world pointing that could make everybody so mad? I don't know. All I said was, this is what we're going to talk about now. This is what I said as we look at that. This is a good graphic. This is all I said. How is this hyping? Explain to me, please. I really need to know. Seems we will be watching this wave. It's a wave. Tropical waves are part of life in the Atlantic soon. Some signals it will enter Western Caribbean next week and try to develop. Try, not will. Been keeping an eye on it, and overnight runs support mentioning it at least. I mentioned it. Oh my God! A couple of these comments, people, man, I gotta just invite you off my page because if you think that's hype. And I'm trying to get clicks and likes. I'm really starting to not care anymore. Certain people that aren't on our page because I don't know how more politely I can say, no big cap words, no explanation points, no, posting the 6Z GFS run and saying, we need to watch this in caps. Anyway, whatever. It's fun. You know what? I love it. Thanks for doing it because it makes me smile. I enjoy it. I enjoy the heck out of that kind of stuff. All right, so let's look at tropical tidbits. This is what we're going to talk about now. So let's talk about what's possibly next. And it better not happen because I'm supposed to be going to Talladega. I'm going whether or not I want hell or high water. All right. Here's the wave right here. This is the one we're going to talk about. This little guy right here. This one came off of Africa last week. And we were watching it. I don't even want to talk about this one. Low rider. And it's got a little bit of, circulation. It's kind of getting going a little bit. It's a seed. It's a wave. Tropical systems need... it's far enough away from Fiona that it, won't likely track that direction. It's going to stay west. So let's show you what the individual model runs have showed. And then I'm going to show you ensembles. Ensembles are everything right now, but I'm going to still talk about it anyways. We're going to look at lower model runs. See what's cooking. So let's use the latest Euro. Here we go. There's our wave starting to get a little juice going. This is over the weekend. This is 23rd, 24th. And you can see a general lowering of pressures with the Euro. in the Western Caribbean, right? No biggie, right? 1005, talking about a wave. Nothing stressing anything than talking about a wave. But the Euro's showing it. This is a week from Wednesday. That's a long way away. It's 8 days from now. But there you go. The Canadian, let's go to the icon. The icon shows it also. About the same time stamp. There you go. Starting to this one only goes out 180 hours. So this is Monday. But look, same wave. Slow development. Icon does very well sniffing out tropical systems. Very, very well. Icon. GFS, which didn't do too bad with Earl. Maybe it's getting it figured out. Or Fiona. Fiona. GFS. Next Monday. So, Monday of next week. 7 days from now. GFS. Icon. So, Monday. And then we have to go to 00Z. Go to Monday. So, 3 models. Low pressure. Western Caribbean. Next Monday. Canadian. A little bit of broad showing there, nothing too organized, but you can kind of see it on the 850, showing that general wave coming across here, kind of bumping into South America and coming across, and then you can see in the Canadian starts to develop it here next Tuesday. So it's there on the Canadian. So here's what the GFS showed. Look, that's all you're going to see. Last night, 00Z. Where is it? A little early to talk about it, right? Here's a weak low going down into the Yucatan. Kind of what the CMC is showing. So, it's worth a mention. It's not worth to get everybody worked up about it. But, I got travel plans next week. I would appreciate this information put out there because it could affect our plans. So, that's why it's worth mentioning for everybody. This is next Thursday, and the Canadian kind of showing the same thing, weak low pressure. Afternoon runs are going to be really interesting because the ensembles on the Euro really got my attention more than anything. Remember, the European ensembles are 51 different members. And when you start getting a cluster of them agreeing, then you kind of take notice. And that's when I decided to mention it this morning when I saw that it was posting more confidence. Cheryl got to go to work. Oh, Dan Cozumel. Yeah, well, you'll be watching this, man, for sure. Robin, yeah, we're not going to show that. We're not going to show that one again. But hey, if the 12Z shows it, Don, it's all right. Yeah, they read headlines. Oh, thanks for the stars, Valerie. And that, by the way, that's dogs. That's my dog. That's my dog snoring over there. So the European. So I saw this. Oh God. Well, we were tracking this wave for a week ago. Actually, if you look back, I forgot about the wave because of Fiona, but the wave's always been there. And I saw Saturday some of these ensembles, and I saw yesterday, and I'm like, oh God. And then I always wait to the next morning to make sure. I always wait to make sure I post anything unless there's confidence brewing. And it makes sense. If you guys remember months ago, and even I heard Eric Burris talk about this too, but the fact that we're in a lingering front mode so much this year, it kind of made you think, and I know our diehards know I mention this a lot, is we might be seeing an October-style setup earlier because of these frontal boundaries are just coming into play now that normally aren't here this time of year. And an October-style pattern is one that's bad for the Gulf and Florida specifically. This is your October pattern. Sometimes you get a lingering front, sometimes you get a tropical wave, but the fact is the reason that this is a bad setup for this area is we get frontal lines come down and they pick things up and they find weakness, and that's why storms do that. There's been a lot of weakness in the atmosphere this year with these lingering fronts. So, Earl, Fiona, our Bermuda high pressure is not as strong as it's normally been, and that's why we're seeing these storms curve off, these last two big ones. And Fiona's expected to be a major hurricane too. Weak frontal lines. So we could see this pattern. If anything weak gets down in here, it's going to follow this same pattern. So the European ensembles overnight, this is next Sunday. This is Saturday, Sunday. Look, there's a large grouping here now. You have 51 members of the Euro. One or two here and there isn't high confidence, but we're getting a lot of them signaling in on this low pressure starting to enter the Caribbean. And we got to remember the Caribbean, once you pass the islands, this is what we saw with Fiona, man, that the conditions are just totally ripe for tropical development. I mean, you got the water's super duper hot, very low wind shear because the frontal lines are up north. You don't really have a lot of winds. You got the La Nina still in effect, meaning lighter, wind shear, so that's obvious here in the Caribbean. And then our MJO phase is still enhanced through early October. So there's a lot of things saying, hey, something to watch. All right, so here's the latest Euro, and look, they're clustering together. That's a lot of them. The Euro's kind of high confidence right now that we're going to see maybe low pressure try to pull up. Now, 12Z could come out. It could be completely different. Yesterday's 12Z, a little more scattered. See that? So, not high confidence by any means, but it's enough to raise your eyebrows. 00Z yesterday didn't really hardly show anything. So I'm hoping that the 12Z comes out and we don't see a high cluster of the green models, and that'll, if we see another high clustering of ensembles together, then time frame here. Now look, this is this weekend, so it's not even 7 days out, and we're already seeing signs that this wave could be trying to become something down here, and that's less than a week. So this isn't like in fantasy land. This is 4 or 5 days from now. The other models we look at for ensembles, let's take a look at the GFS ensembles. And there's a high cluster next Sunday. And, they kind of go every which way right there. But the fact is, cluster of low pressure. And the GFS, or Canadian model, there's a little bit of a cluster kind of going north. So it's still, low confidence. But my trusty old Euro blend of model map that I love to use, this is my most favorite map of all for tropical formation, is showing this. So we click at the tropical storm, which you rarely get a lot of consistency with tropical storm colors, but we're already getting that early for next Tuesday. This is tropical storm percentages. So that's saying there's more grouping of the ensembles that's starting to agree, meaning more of a chance on the latest 0Z. Like I said, it's really important to see what the next run does. But, next 29th and 30th, there's a high cluster of ensembles. And we click over to hurricane. It's the first time in a long time, I think, very rare to see any hurricane color. Now, granted, it's 5 to 10%, but so anyway, that's it. I mean, there's no guarantee of anything, but it's got my curiosity. So that's where we're at with that. That's all we got to say about that. This is current look, by the way. You can see the eye. Man, it's still tracking a little bit west. It definitely went a little more west than I'd be watching really close in the Turks and Caicos. This thing keeps bumping west a little bit. And I kind of know why. The current winds here, I'm surprised at that confidence in the short term, but steering map that we've used forever still shows a pretty strong high, kind of blocking a little bit. So it kind of makes sense. These old school upper steering maps are wonderful, and that's exactly what's going on. Our system's following this high pressure off to the northwest. $1 million question I get on my site: when's it going to turn? Well, you got to have faith in the models. You got to, man. You got to trust them. European ensembles, look at that. First time ever we have not had that stray one going to the East Coast. So that's extremely high confidence. This is the Euro ensembles. Even the GFS does not have one outlier going to the East Coast of the United States. So extremely high confidence. So this thing's going to do a little turn there to Newfoundland, and then we got to worry about what's the pressure going to be about then, because we actually have a lot of people that chime in. So on, what would that probably be? More like, it doesn't even go that high. We got to keep it right there. We'll just leave it right here. Somehow I ended up in the Pacific. That was a long flight. So 9:45, possibly pressure passing Bermuda here Thursday night into Friday. And then that little turn, ooh, man, it could still be strong. Holy cow, look at that, 9:56, 9:47, man. So, Newfoundland, holy cow, yes, that thing's still wiggle. We talked about it last week. They've had a little bit of wiggle back towards you guys. This would be Friday night, 9:47, man. That would be a very intense storm coming your way. Holy cow. And then the Euro, showing that little wiggle. Oh man, yeah, you guys, you definitely got to worry about this thing up that way, because even last week we were talking about it bending back up towards past New England, but that's, we have people that watch us in Newfoundland. That's for sure, guaranteed almost. Even the Canadian 9:44, that's a monster. Not good at all. Wow, believe it. Friday night, let's take a look. Man, that's powerful storm heading that way. Friday night, let's take a look. Or Saturday night, what am I saying, Friday night? So here's, what is Friday night on approach? So man, look at that. So we could have 9:38 pressure approaching Saturday at 8 a.m. That is a monster storm. 9:40, 9:50. I know we got a lot of people watching up there too. That's clipping maybe even Sydney, parts of Nova Scotia. So that's bad. GFS is a little bit off to your east, but still hitting land. So man, yeah, we got a lot to watch. Timing would be Friday night into Saturday. But yeah, Mark Hall, 30 inches of rain, and it's still coming down. Current radar here is pumping in these rains coming down south. Lots of moisture feeding in. Let's take a look at weather nerds. You'll get a good idea with weather nerds here what we can see as far as the reach down, how far south. See, this is not good. This is kind of what we talked about over the weekend. This is juice down there in the Caribbean just pulling up behind. So, man, we could still see some serious rain. Look at this convection. All this convection down here is pulling up. So as Fiona pulls away, this is going to tag along, and it's just going to keep pumping rains to the island. So, western Puerto Rico right now has got a break. But once our system moves, that tail's going to move with it. And there's places that haven't had a lot of rain are going to see a lot of rain this afternoon. This stuff's going to slide along with our storm. So it ain't over yet at all. And like I said, Dominican Republic getting a little kind of unexpected turn here. This thing kind of wasn't supposed to be that far west, so they're definitely got a little shock as this thing turned towards them last night. And it was odd to watch it on the Hurricane Hunter data because it was really odd to see this. Our storm was tracking along kind of normal, and it actually hit Puerto Rico and just kind of ended up doing that. Very weird. Didn't keep on trucking. It kind of moved a lot. That's a huge wiggle. Wiggle and a wobble. A wiggle and a wobble. All right, so why are we watching the Caribbean next week? Well, here it is. Here's that ocean heat content. We saw it with Fiona. As soon as it got into this area right here, it just intensified. Incredibly intensified. All this right here, potent ocean heat content. Lots of fuel for Fiona. If we do get a wave next week come through here, it's going to be worth watching once it reaches this area. Usually a lot less wind shear. And then for sure, we don't have to talk about that area at all. So really curious to watch these afternoon 12Z models come in. Don't forget the National Hurricane Center always has key messages. They come out at 5 and 11. Hurricane conditions, what kind of rain to expect. Turks and Caicos expected to have tropical storm conditions late Monday, Tuesday. But like I said, you never know. This thing bounces a little bit more west. We could have more hurricane conditions for the Turks and Caicos. So, what else we got? So, hey, Sydney, officially our storm is supposedly moving. Let's close some windows here. Haven't crashed Chrome all year. I'm going to jinx myself right now. I already said I'm going camping next week. Always knows what happens when that happens. They're still saying 8 miles an hour. So, the hurricane hunters are out there right now. So they're providing the invaluable information of tracking that center. And it's at 8 mile an hour. So they'll be out there waiting for this thing to exit the coast here any minute. But last official movement was at 8 miles an hour northwest. And a lot of that can be figured out with satellite imagery and all the tools that they have. So, Mark Hall, no flying iguanas. My Alexa went off today at 9 o'clock, at 9:19. What's up, Bobby Blobby? Yep, keeps ticking a little bit left side of that cone. Cone is still tight, though. High confidence on this thing turning. You have to trust it. You have to believe. And I believe. Not one ensemble showing it to the U.S., continental U.S. Not one operational run, and even the NAC. So 99.99999999999% chance that this is not making an unexpected trek to Florida. Redneck Radar, Chris. Bill, what factors a storm's forward speed? Well, really, Bill, it's, as these things race around these high-pressure systems, basically, these high-pressure systems spin clockwise, and these winds actually help accelerate our systems along those high-pressure boundaries. And then, once it gets out here, it'll be riding that high pressure. So high pressures spin, and they actually grab a hold of our system, and systems have a natural motion northward and then back northeast. Coriolis effect, they call it. Some phenomenon with the equator and all this scientific-y stuff. But the only time that they don't move is when you would get a blocking pattern. Let's say we had high pressure here and our system was here, and we had high pressure here. It would stall. Sometimes, like what we saw with Dorian, we had a really strong high pressure here. And these winds are coming down to the south. They kind of conflict. This is a weaker high, so it wasn't strong enough to really do anything. So it kind of gets stuck, The strong high pressure that came across Florida during Dorian just kind of parked it there, and they just sit there. And the winds can actually work together. I mean, it's even weirder if you think about it. But when you got winds coming down here, and you got winds going there, and you got a storm here, these storms are counterclockwise. So what you get is winds like this, and they actually help a tropical system counterclockwise flow. You get winds down, they spin these winds around, these spins go up. It's just nutty how that all works, but that's part of the environment favorable in rapid intensification. The winds aloft, but yeah, typically it's the upper level winds that determine the speed. In the summer months when we have weak tropical waves, sometimes these winds across the Atlantic are very, flow very fast, and they'll truck along our waves. Sometimes they're too fast. Sometimes tropical waves are too fast. Dale, what's up with that, buddy? That was nice of you. Thank you, buddy. Sometimes the waves are too fast. Squirrel. Thanks, squirrel. Just sent some coffee money over on YouTube. But anyway, the weaker waves that roll off of Africa right along these lower level winds, and that's what drives them. Once a storm starts developing, they start to be influenced more by upper level winds, and then the upper level winds are different than the lower level winds, and that's when they start to follow the upper level winds. Weaker systems go west because they're influenced by low level winds, which typically go west across the equator. And as the storm gets a little better organized, it starts to feel the influence of upper level winds. And you can play with null school all day long here, which is a great tool. This is your lower level winds. And you can see the natural flow coming across the Atlantic, pushing our new wave, which isn't expected to do anything until it reaches possibly here. What's fascinating, check this out. This is so weird, man. Very weird. Very weird. All right, so the high mountaintops of Hispaniola, look at this. These are very, 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 very high mountains, right? Look at these lower level winds. These lower level winds can't cut across the island because of the mountains. So what do? They go around, and then they get sucked into our system because of the pressure, the lowering pressures. So it's so fascinating. But those winds, these are lower level surface winds, are actually pulling around the island back up into our system. And they can't cut across the high mountaintops. So they go around the mountains. She'll be going around the mountain when she comes. Literally. Isn't that awesome to see that in real time? The big mountains prevent the winds from coming across, and they go around the mountains. Incredible. And the big question is the microwave, and we're going to see how strong our system is after it crosses over. But this is a great image here. You can see the developing microwave eye, and our system getting better organized. You can see brighter colors around the eye. Still maintain its structure even as it crossed over the island, Dominican Republic. And we saw this with a lot of storms. As long as the core stays kind of between this passage, it doesn't have a hard time getting back up again. So not expecting this thing to get tore up much at all. Originally, remember, we were seeing a lot of models last week have this thing cut straight across, keeping it weak. But there's enough high pressure pushing this north, not doing that west coast over the mountains trick that we saw last week. So that's a cool little tool. How about this? There's a couple of things happening in the rest of the world. Hot temperatures here. We got a huge heat wave coming across the central United States this week. Huge heat wave. 20 degrees above normal in spots because of this dome of high pressure coming across. And this is high pressure? Hurricane steerer. Huge high pressure dome guarantees a block in our system has nowhere to go. So even this high pressure dome, the reason that our storm is not coming any closer to the States is this huge high pressure dome is setting up and making it impossible for our system to come any farther northwest. But man, some of these temperatures coming. Let's take a look here how far north they're going to get. But we're going to have some possible record temps here in the middle part of the country. Oh God, it's incredible. Look at this. We got hundreds all the way up into Oklahoma and into Missouri. You believe that? 90s in Illinois, Indiana. I mean, incredible. So today is hot. I mean, we got 101 north of Oklahoma. Oh my God, Emily just sent me a TikTok. What's this all about? I better turn the volume down so I don't get in trouble. It's very rare she sends me text, so this must be funny. Oh, I can't play that. Probably music on it or something. Josh, a little tidbit there. Pico Duarte, the tallest mountain in the Caribbean, gets snow in the winter. That's pretty far south for snow. Anything else we could chit-chat about? But anyway, here's the heat dome today. Look at that, hundreds all the way up here in the middle part of the U.S. It's going to, there's that frontal line coming down. This is that next front that's almost guaranteeing our system is going to push our system out to sea. Let's see what the low temperatures are going to be. See how low they can go. Nope, not that low. Let's see what the 11Z was. Did we go that far out yet? Ooh, hey. Sound like the Rays. But look at this little this is next week, next Tuesday. This is that next front. This is that front that's pushing Fiona, bye-bye. But look, we could have some 50s again. There's a cold front. That's next Tuesday. Week from next. We could have 50s in the Carolinas, reaching Outer Banks. 30s possibly down in the Smoky Mountains. 60s, hey man. We could have 60s. Into Florida. Pretty low. This is a week from Tuesday. Low 60s across the upper Gulf. Hey, it's almost October, right? It's bound to happen soon. Jeanette asks the number one question in the world. What are the chances Fiona hits southern Florida? 0. Fall foliage map. No. Fall in football. People forget about hurricanes. I guess I could put it up there, though. James Fort, checking it out, said that he looked online. They can get snow. Joyce, thank you for the stars. Appreciate that. Bill's been to that tallest mountain in the Caribbean. What island is it on? Oh, Jim Parker wants to know. Daryl Walsh used to think it was called the vortex theory or something, that he thought the NASCAR cars created their own rising air, preventing a bubble over NASCAR tracks. Laura wants to know, when's fall arriving in Florida? There's been a lot of Halloweens we've been sweating our tails off. So, good morning, Tammy Harvick. Erica, thank you for the stars. Thank you, Mary Cheryl Chapman. Good morning. What's up, Mr. Chris? Thanks for offering to pick up my skeleton, by the way, buddy. Mike, what would be the next name? I think it's Gaston, I think. Is that right? I don't know. I'm not really a tidbitter guy, but Gaston. Hey, honey, I can't get the outside grill to work. Is the gas on? Dad joke of the day. How about that one? Diane, I'm afraid you're going to get impacts for Bermuda Thursday night. You're going to have to prepare. Could have 100-mile-an-hour winds close to you. There's no other invests out there, Kim? No invest. Oh, there is an invest. Invest 97. That's this though. I don't even have it on my page, but it's going straight up in the Atlantic, so no biggies. Invest 97. I don't even have it posted on my page. It's not organized. It's nothing. Might bring some rain to the Azores, but it's not organized, so it's nothing. But it is Invest 97. So if we get our new one, it'd be Invest 98, and that could be as soon as this weekend, possibly, maybe. Right. All right. So like I said, this will be the one to keep an eye on. Some of the ensembles. Let's take a look at Weather Nerds. I haven't showed you that one yet. We can take a look at the Weather Nerds. Jason's watching from Coastal Claims. Don't forget our good buddy at Coastal Claims, Jason. He was on our cruise last year. We love the guy to death. I'm supposed to be doing some rapid fire questions with these guys like we did with ABC. So that might be tomorrow, Jason, maybe. But definitely good friends of ours here on the page. And if if you ever need any help dealing with insurance companies, definitely give them a call first. They'll fight hard for you and get the maximum amount of money. You'll be surprised how much you can get with a little bit of help from your friends. So you can call Jason. He's in our chat. He always takes care of everybody, especially when they're from our page. Appreciate that. But we're going to look at Weather Nerds real quick. These are our ensembles. Another way to look at them. This is kind of what has been happening. So here's that system right here. It's very weak right now. But, the big old but, you can see, stop it right here. This would be Wednesday, 2 days from now. That little clump of clouds could be entering lower Lesser Antilles on Wednesday of this week. Then Fiona's far enough away, high pressure builds back in below, allowing a west track. This would be Friday. Sunday. Tuesday. And it stops. Long way away. But it's worth talking about. Got my attention. I hope the 12Z runs come out and it's not there no more. I don't want to be tracking a Caribbean storm. I want to be in Talladega ripping my clothes off. No. We're not going storm chasing in the motorhome, Julie said. Nope. So I don't know how that's going to work out. She won't drive the motorhome. She could drive the storm chaser truck. But then I got to park her somewhere in a Walmart and go storm chasing. How do you know you're a redneck storm chaser? When you dump your wife off at the Walmart parking lot so you can go chase storms. Honey, when you coming back? I can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of a Cat 3. Don't you ever call me in the middle of a hurricane again. All right. Well, that's about it for the day. It's been an hour. I can't believe it. So listen, we're definitely thinking of all our friends down in Puerto Rico. I got so many friends that have family down there. Never really tracked storms down there, probably like I should have when I first started this whole gig. I was only focused on Florida. Now I realize, storms affect a lot more than just Florida and the United States, meaning continental U.S., United States. We have a lot of people watching us down the Virgin Islands and Dominican Republic. We have people watching us in Bermuda and Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. So definitely, I feel like we're all one big family. So I'm just as passionate talking about storms. And politics, I don't get into all that politics, man. We're just worried about the folks dealing with it right now. And, having to deal with a pretty serious situation down there with all the flooding. And like I said, 1.3 million people are without power right now. Hopefully they get it back. Firm Power tracker map here. 1.4 million tracked and 1.3 are without power right now. So you can follow along on this map here and see right from our page what the status is. And the Virgin Islands did very well. They only got 5,000 out. They didn't get hit as hard. St. John, though. That whole county's out, actually. Wow, big difference. So St. Thomas only 1,000 out of 22, but look at this, St. John 2.4. So almost, look at that. That's interesting. St. John, almost the whole island is out. That's interesting. Then very little down at St. Croix. 27,000 tracked down to St. Croix, 1,000 out. So man, that island right there, St. John. Something probably happened there with a transformer or something. That's part of the USVI. Let's take a look at the map, get an idea where that one's at. Just put it on the bigger map here, show you. So when you're looking at both the islands, so St. John right here, St. Thomas to the west. So this little island right here, almost completely out of power. St. John. Got anybody down there watching? Anybody? So anyway, yeah, welcome to Weather Family. Hey, Gina from Port St. Joe. I love Port St. Joe. We were there. I love your all's little water, or your lighthouse in Port St. Joe. Hey, great to have you. Is it Edelia Rodriguez? Thank you. Well, appreciate that. Look at that. You were able to help them because of our page. That means a lot. Yes, Dustin Howard, man. It's not coming, buddy. What's up with all the Disney names? I've often wondered that too. We had Elsa and Anna. What's up with that? In 2027, we're going to have Elsa again and Anna. Look, we just had them last year, so now they repeat. Look at Elsa and Anna in 2027. It's going to be a frozen party. Peter, you can say that was what, Peter Pan. They're all Disney names. Right? Hard to believe we went all the way to W's last year, right? Third most active season last year ever. Third. And we only had really one storm people remember, Ida. Doesn't take a lot of names to make a season, trust me. We had that last year and everybody thought the season was slow. All right, well, we're going to end it with that, I guess. This season brought to you by Disney. Disney World. All right, well, everybody be good. I'm going to do a quickie little YouTuber, probably, maybe, why not? I don't know. Lots of rain to come still down in Puerto Rico. That rain's going to slide westward through the day. Might still be bringing a lot of rain to the Dominican Republic they got to worry about. So if you're down there, it ought to be gone. Yeah, Matt, we're not going to talk about that GFS run. We will say, though, that the Icon, the Canadian, the Euro are all showing low pressure in that same general Western Caribbean, plus a lot of ensembles. So, but hey, Squirrel, thank you. We're just kind of laid back, man. We're not the normal. We're not that normal. I try to keep things down. See you, Dale. What time the Rays on today, man? Who we playing? Texas? Got Monday Night Football tonight. On Monday. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, hey, listen. It's after, oh, my God. It's a Small World, Jim. You remember hearing that song? Oh, God. The worst was waiting in line for an hour. I'll never do Disney again. Thank God my kids are old past that now. Oh, my God. waiting in line an hour to go on It's a Small World for a 5-minute boat ride where you hear that song the whole time standing in line. They ought to give you earplugs. They give you earplugs at Talladega and Daytona and the NASCAR races. They need to give you earplugs when you're in line at It's a Small World, so you don't have to hear that. It's a small world after. Hey, look at this. Speaking of the Dominican Republic, listen, you don't think I love you guys? Check this. This is on my desk. Look at this. Look at that. I bought that. When were we there? I can't remember what cruise. It was this year. It was either Royal or Carnival. I get confused now. But we were there this year. We were there. So I got a piece of you guys. I took this home from the island. So I can officially say the most coolest thing for me going to the Turks and the Caicos and Haiti and Dominican Republic were we talk about you guys all the time, and now I feel like I've been there. I could talk about it. I actually know where it's at. I used to never even knew where it was at. Now I know I've been there. And I got a piece. I bought this for my Talladega refrigerator in our camper. I always buy cool magnets. So this is I've kept it here because we don't have the camper here. So I'm gonna take you to Talladega. The DR is going to Talladega. You're gonna experience Talladega Boulevard. I hope I get to go. I hope. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks to all the new Brew Crew members, all the supporters of our page. I try to type in there quite a bit too. You guys do a good job chatting in there with Shelly, but appreciate it. We got four new Cat 5s. We're mailing out the shirts on Wednesday. The Cat 5 annuals get some cool swag. But yeah, we're one big happy family. All right, stay safe down there, Puerto Rico, DR. We're thinking of you. And of course, our friends in Bermuda are watching patiently as this thing develops through the week and where it's actually going to go. So, all right, we'll see y'all tomorrow for the Daily Brew. Be good.